This is like crazy being here.
Really weird tales.
Well, I got a great show for you today with some wonderful weird stuff.
Hi, friends. I'm Scott, and this is What a Weird Week. It's a show about the weird stuff from the news. This is our year-ender, so we've taken a number one story from every month of the year 2024, and that's what you're getting. Happy New Year. All the best of the season to you. We did a blog post with all of the show notes, so if you need to do a deep dive on these stories or you want to get our podcast stuff on that, you can go to shownotes.page, shownotes.page.
January.
Let's jump right into the number one story of the week. The 10-year-old girl behind the movement to bring back Haggis-flavored chips, or crisps. I believe she would call them crisps. 10-year-old Grace in Scotland loved Haggis chips, and when she heard that the Haggis-flavored chips were being made a seasonal flavor instead of year-round, Grace wrote a polite letter to the company saying basically it would make her sad if Haggis chips went away for part of the year. They're giving her a year's supply of chips and a tour of the chip factory. Maybe at the end of the tour, Grace will be handed the deed to the chip factory. I'm not sure about that one. We'll have to follow this story. Maybe the biggest thing of all is that the Haggis chips are back. Sweet victory for young Grace. I liked that story a lot. Just a nice, happy story about a young person effecting change in the world, and it involved chips. One of my favorite things. Haggis chips, I'm not sure about. Don't at me. I'm more of a salt and vinegar person myself. Maybe ketchup, the all-dressed, almost all the flavors. I want to be open-minded about Haggis-flavored chips, but I don't think I'm ready for a year's supply of them myself.
February.
The What a Weird Week show. 1.
Our top story this week was all over the place. We got the article from Gizmodo, but a lot of different sources had this one. The headline is Japan Zoo recaptures escaped man in costume in adorable emergency drill. So at the zoo, they have this thing where they practice what would you do if a bear got away? And they do it every year. I think we even talked about it on this program before because it's in the news when it happens because it is very unusual looking. They hire someone or an employee gets dressed up as a bear, and then the zoo, they take that bear down. Tranquilizer darts, bear traps, bear spray, tasers, all of it. No, I'm just kidding. They don't do that part. It is something where people watch and cheer on the employees, and it's very lighthearted, but it's just to make sure it really is a training program to make sure everybody can logistically get in place and handle it if a bear ever escaped, how to recapture a bear. I'm glad they know how to recapture a bear. Or, I mean, in the event that someone in a bear suit also gets loose, they've got that covered too. 2 birds, 1 stone. Hey, you guys, 2 bears, 1 stone. Didn't work. It didn't work. I thought it might work, but it's not very catchy.
March.
A couple of things I didn't know. First of all, hello to our friends in Missouri. The area code in St. Louis is 314, and so that's become a bit of a local holiday in St. Louis, 314 Day, March 14th. And so I didn't know that. Also, I didn't know the world record for the most people in one place with underwear on their head is 270 participants. Well, on March 14th, 314 Day in St. Louis, they're going to try to get 314 participants wearing underwear on their head. This is at a museum in St. Louis. They will supply the underpants. You just got to be there. All we need is your presence and a good attitude, really. So good luck, and a shout out to the City Museum in St. Louis, Missouri.
April.
When to exercise for maximum staying alive capabilities. This is from our friends at Study Finds. Their headline was, Why Exercising at Night May Be Best for Health. 61% lower risk of death from any cause! Exclamation. They start out by talking about how, and we've all learned this, if you just exercise, it's good for you. Just do it. Any exercise is good. But now there's a study about if you're going to exercise for maximum health potential, what time of day should you? It's a pretty big study from the University of Sydney. 30,000 participants. They did moderate to vigorous physical activity, so we're all covered in there somewhere-ish, right? We've all done exercise somewhere in that scope. Unless you're completely sedentary, we've all had moderate to vigorous exercise, whether you're running to catch the bus or an elevator or even just walking up the escalator stairs that are already moving up, right? That counts. Anyway, the 30,000 people were studied over an 8-year time frame, exercising at different times of the day, and there was a pattern to the healthier outcomes. There was a certain time of day when people with the healthiest outcomes did their exercising. Evening people seem to get the most out of their exercise with that stat, 61% lower risk of death from any cause. That's pretty great. If you're an exerciser and you're able to exercise in the evening, you're going to get more out of it, according to this study. If you're exercising in the morning or afternoon, it's not like it's bad for you. Please consult your physician, all that stuff. Dealer may sell for less, member FDIC. So why is exercising at night or in the evening better? They think, they're still studying, but they think it's because our bodies handle blood sugar better in the day. We don't need as much help through the day to handle the blood sugar. At night, our bodies can use a bit more help. Blood sugar tends to go up at night. Exercise helps. Do the deep dive on this one. Click the show notes.
May.
Teeny tiny fish sandwich breaks records for teeny tininess. Frozen food company Bird's Eye made headlines this week with a fish finger sandwich that measures 16 millimeters by 15 millimeters by 8 millimeters tall. A very tiny sandwich. You could use a dime as a tiny plate to serve up this fish finger sandwich. You're picturing a very teeny tiny sandwich on the tip of someone's finger. This was a publicity stunt to raise awareness of the new Bird's Eye brand mini fish fingers. And it worked. It worked, Bird's Eye. Now I'm hungry.
June.
A study from Cornell University, so you know it seems legit. Are plants intelligent? That's the question. The answer is, it depends on what you mean by intelligent. This is a study about goldenrod. Goldenrod can perceive other plants and can communicate with other plants. One of the things they've documented is if a goldenrod plant is eaten by an herbivore and there's another plant nearby, it communicates with that plant. If there's not another plant nearby, it doesn't bother trying to communicate. So it can perceive when plants are nearby. That's weird, right, you guys? That's weird. Science is weird.
July.
This is What a Weird Week. It's a show about the weird news of the week.
1.
I don't know, you guys. A court case about chicken wings is our number one story, and it might be controversial. I don't know where you fall on this one. Feel free to let us know. You can go shownotes.page and get in touch with us. But the headline from the Associated Press is Chicken Wings, advertised as boneless, can have bones. Ohio Supreme Court decides. This is about a court case from a fellow named Michael who went out to eat some wings with friends and family, whatever, and you're eating the boneless wings, enjoying the wings, right? There was a bone in there, and the bone actually did some damage to Michael's esophagus, so he sued the restaurant. He said, I was eating boneless chicken wings, and there were bones in there. Well, the court decided it was a 4-3 ruling. The Supreme Court of Ohio said that boneless wings is more about now I'm summarizing here, I'm not a lawyer, but boneless wings refers to how the wings are prepared, the cooking style. And the same way somebody getting chicken fingers doesn't really think they're being served fingers, when you're being served boneless wings, you know there are bones in chicken. That's kind of me paraphrasing the ruling. So that was a close one, and I don't know how to feel about it. The court is kind of saying, hey, when you eat food, be responsible for the food you eat. On the other hand, though, if they say boneless, they don't say semi-boneless. They don't say mostly boneless. They say boneless chicken wings. So I don't know how to feel about this. I hate to leave it at that, kind of open-ended, but
August.
1.
Alrighty, our top story this week, inspiring the high school basketball coach from Maine. His name is Ryan Martin. First, hello to our friends and neighbors in Maine, United States of America, and hello to the crew. Ryan is a basketball coach at Lake Region High School in Naples, and he sank 1,134 three-pointers in an hour. So over 1,000 three-pointers, 1 hour. World record. When you do the math on that, that's almost 19 three-pointers per minute. Here's what Ryan says in the article. It's really just taking it one shot at a time and having confidence in yourself. Inspiring words. Nice going, Ryan.
It was honestly just a really fun event, and I'm very thankful for everyone who came.
But you don't just walk into a gym and break a world record.
I kind of looked into it as training for a marathon, 2.5 weeks before a marathon.
All right, that's Guy's training for a marathon and then is like, oh, and I'll also do this basketball world record. I mean, come on.
September.
This is What a Weird Week. We do 10 weird news stories from the past week.
1.
Our number one story this week, and I have to admit, I'm not a fashion maven here, whatever you call it. I don't know my fashion so much, but for New York Fashion Week, which is a big deal in fashion, Hellmann's Mayonnaise teamed up with a creator to make a bag, a designer bag, especially designed to carry a jar of mayonnaise. And I think that's all I have to say about it. We do link to some photos. It looks like a designer bag, and it also has a little pouch for your Hellmann's mayonnaise. New York Fashion Week, you guys. And Hellmann's. Who would have thought?
October.
Number one is about a fellow named Luigi. In the 1960s, Luigi in Italy found a painting that he liked. He worked as a junk dealer. And so he was cleaning out a cellar in Italy, and there was a painting in there, and he was like, not bad. You know what? I'm going to keep this. I think I like this. His wife did not like it. Mrs. Luigi did not like it. But it went up in the living room for a number of years, a cheap frame, and here is this painting up on the wall, Luigi and Mrs. Luigi's wall. If you would like to see what the painting looks like, you can click shownotes.page. It certainly is not everyone's cup of tea. It looks like a lady who maybe the painting got sliced into and then put back together. I don't know. Is that maybe? I don't know art. Anyway, Luigi's son, decades later, sees the signature on this painting and he's like, I think this is a Picasso. I'm getting this thing checked out. And it was. It was a Picasso worth more than $6 million, you guys. After I love stories like this. After I hear a story like this, I go to my Salvation Army or, a junk store or a yard sale, whatever. For the next little while, I'm going to buy every ugly painting they have at these yard sales and junk stores because I'm daring to dream, you guys. How great would that be to find something that everyone thought was junk, and then now you're a millionaire because you're a genius. Hey, that's the dream.
November.
In case you missed it, this show is called What a Weird Week. Thank you for listening.
1.
Number one this week is a world record iced latte. When you think of, if you enjoy iced latte or think of your favorite beverage and you're like, I'm so thirsty, I'm getting a big one. I'm getting the big size. This world record iced latte, served in an 11-foot high cup, branded as a Dunkin' cup, but I don't think it's on the menu, you guys. Hey, am I right? Put in some, note to the production team, put in some canned laughter here. Really, really bring it home. So, making headlines this week, social media star Nick Giovanni, he teamed up with Dunkin' and got a Guinness World Record for the largest ice latte. That's kind of the story, really. It's just it's an 11-foot high cup filled with, iced latte, ice, milk, espresso. Gallons-wise, I want to say just under 280 gallons for the world record iced latte.
December.
1.
Okay, number one story. It could be an earmuffs situation for you or the kids if perhaps you're triggered by BM talk, or the kids will start giggling uncontrollably when we start mentioning BMs, how to have a better BM. It's useful information though, you guys. But kids, earmuffs. So this one is about breathing techniques and making animal noises while you're, in the course of your BMs. That's what this story is about. I just want to say I'm a germaphobe and I'm an uptight individual, and this is not a topic of conversation I would if this were a casual conversation, we were to meet face to face and you started talking about BMs, I would just turn around and leave. So, not approaching this lightly, but I do believe it is good information from an expert about how to make our BMs go smoother, you guys. Smoother. Everybody does it, right? Perhaps you're listening right now and it is occurring.
2 hours later.
The article we linked to, the doctor, the expert says, if we moo like a cow, it can facilitate easier BMs. Just an overall better bathroom outcome. Here's a quote from the article. These techniques, while seemingly silly, help strengthen the gut-brain connection, reducing straining during BMs and potentially preventing issues like hemorrhoids caused by excessive pressure. So I'm glad we did the story because somebody needs to hear that, right? That is, perhaps it is you, perhaps somebody you know is suffering. Now you're armed with the knowledge that making animal noises like the moo of a cow could help. It's going to lead to some knocks on the bathroom door, though. You okay in there? What's happening in there? Is everything all right? I'm just mooing. All right, that's it. Happy New Year. Thanks for checking out the show. I appreciate your support through 2024. If you want to get any of the stuff we talk about in more detail, or if you want to contact us or spread the word about our podcast, everything is at shownotes.page. Easy to remember, shownotes.page. Happy New Year to our friends at Funhouse Radio. Every weekend, we're a part of the programming there at Funhouse Radio. You can find out more about them also from our show notes page at shownotes.page. Catch you next week for more weird stuff on What a Weird Week.